Denmark Prabhutis and Matatis, all glory Srila Prabhu. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सह गणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्. Today we will be finishing or covering verse number 6. The theme is the fifth verse discussed with how to deal with different kinds of devotees, and this verse deals with how not to deal with different kinds of devotees or with devotees in general. We did not read the verse yesterday, so I have put the fifth verse. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham शुश्रूषया भजन विज्ञ अनन्यमन्या निन्दानि शून्यहृदम् ईप्सितसङ्कलब्ध्या. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So basically, Rupa Goswami, and we discussed more in detail, but we didn't discuss the translation. We directly discussed the whole purport. So in translation, Rupa Goswami says, mentally honor those who chants the holy name. And we discussed about Kanishtadhikari. They chant at different levels of Kanishtadhikari. Then offer humble obeisances to those who have undergone Diksha and is engaged in worshipping the deity. Um, we discussed Madhyamadhikari. Um, uh, Physically pay obeisances to those who have undergone initiation, worship the deity. Mentally honor those who chant the holy name. Um, and faithfully serve those who are pure devotees, whose heart is completely devoid of propensity to criticize others. So mentally honor, physically honor, and render seva. Mentally honor, uh, anybody who chants mentally honor. Those who are initiated and they are engaged in worshipping the deities, physically honor, like bow down, physically bow down. Those who are pure devotees render service to them. Um, okay, and now verse 6. दृष्टे स्वभावजनितैव पुषश्च दोषे न प्राकृतत्वम् इह भक्तजनस्य पश्ये गङ्गाम्बसं न खलु बुद्बुदफेन पङ्कैर्ब्रह्माण्डवत्त्वम् अपगच्छति निरधर्मये. Being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee's having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee, but despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges water do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water. So sometimes there may be many trash, foam, and filthy substance in the Ganges, but by their presence, the Ganges doesn't lose its purifying potency. A pure devotee does not identify himself with the body. The body may have various defects, like when one becomes old, like Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, who is the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita. His eyes cannot open, body is infirm, so many wrinkles. Um, Ordinary people may see somebody from a physical appearance, or this person is very old, uh, but but that's um, don't see a devotee from a materialistic point of view. Or somebody may be born in a low family. Low family, uh, if they are devotees, they are very dear to Krishna. Okay, now we go in detail. So Srila Prabhupada begins the purport with describing what is Shuddha Bhakti. Srila Prabhupada quotes Rupa Goswami from Nectar of Devotion. Um, in the beginning, Rupa Goswami quotes the definition of pure bhakti: Anyabhilashitam shunyam jnana karma navritam anukulena krishnanu shilana bhakti uttama. Um, uh, so what is Shuddha Bhakti? When devotion is free from, when basically when it is done, when any activity which is done only for the pleasure of Krishna, and it is not done with any material motive in it, um, with any with any touch of karma and gyan. We can discuss this in more detail. Uh, Bhakti. So there is two kind of bhakti. There is karma mishra bhakti and there is gyan mishra bhakti. So karma mishra bhakti is I like to do. I mean I am attached to the karma, and I'll bring Krishna in the center. And Jnana Mishra Bhakti is when bhakti is rendered not out of love for Krishna, but when it is influenced by Gyan, knowledge, intellect. So that is like Gyan Mishra Bhakti. Pure Bhakti is when devotion to Krishna is rendered only because out of spontaneous love. Naturally, in our beginning stages, our bhakti is mixed with karma and Gyan. When we come to the path of bhakti, we are very much involved in karma, especially many activities we are doing, and then we bring Krishna in the center. One example of karma mishra bhakti may be I'm cooking, um, I am attached to the results of my cooking, and I offer it to Krishna, and I'm very much conscious of what I'm going to get after I offer it to Krishna. Then when it is not done purely out of like I'm cooking because I love Krishna and I want to feed Krishna. When there is something for myself is there, then it becomes Anya Bilash or Karma Mishra Bhakti. Um, like um, one devotee was mentioning that he has a desire to, like, he was not working, this devotee, and he is like, I'm very much attached to finding a job, have a job, but I'll use it in the service of the Lord. Um, it's like the karma means I'm attached to a particular like I really like doing this, I want this, but results I'm not so much attached. But I will render devotional service, but this is one thing that I really want to do. And that one thing can be many, and that bhakti, although we are bringing Krishna in, the difference between karma yoga and bhakti and shuddha bhakti is the activity is done purely because Krishna wants it. Krishna wants me to do this purely out of love for Krishna, an activity which is done. We will discuss more in detail this definition when we come to nectar of devotion. There we will discuss this verse in little more analysis. So karma, jnana karma anavrita. So how Lord devotee should not be seen, we will see that, and then we will discuss a lot about Vaishnava. And this purport speaks heavily about the consequences of Vaishnava Aparadh, what is a Vaishnava Aparadh, how to avoid Vaishnava Aparadh, and what are the consequences and how to overcome the consequences of Vaishnava Aparadh. Okay, so
Hare Krishna,
when
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Vinay here.
Good.
Prabhuji, uh, desiring for a job and then rendering service to Lord or the fruits of the job, what is the right mood then? Unless we have something, how would we give?
Ah, it's little complex. I understand time plus circumstances, Prabhuji. Um, so you are saying what should be our mood while doing the job? Because we have to do the job for
So,
sustenance.
what should be my first desire? So, here my first desire is to get the job and then render service. Um, I think you're saying the mood should be I will serve irrespective if I have the job or I don't have the job, right? Job is just a medium of service which does not matter, right? So rendering service is my primary goal, and job is just a medium to accomplish that.
Yeah, when my motive to do the job is purely out of love for Krishna, it is Shuddha Bhakti. When the like Shuddha Bhakti is only Kevala Bhakti. Kevala Bhakti means an activity which is impelled by love for Krishna. I'm doing this because I love, like, for the pleasure of Krishna, impelled by the love of Krishna. That act is Shuddha Bhakti. Every other act is mixed by either material desire or desire for karma or desire for gain.
I get it, Rose. I think most of the time we will sense satisfaction, ego satisfaction, and all those things comes primary, and
Uh,
then
there is unlimited variety. Uh, but if we understand what is Shuddha Bhakti, then the act is impelled completely because out of love for Krishna. Then that act is Shuddha
got it, Rose. Got it. I think what is the top, which should be very clear.
Bhakti.
What is the first most? That should be clear.
Amazing, bro. Amazing. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. So how can we perform Shuddha Bhakti? Like here we see the gopis are trying to stop Krishna, and Krishna is going. Krishna and Balaram with Akrur, they are going, and everything that they are doing is completely impelled by their love for Krishna. Whatever they do is completely impelled by their love for Krishna. When we do things only for Krishna's pleasure, with no personal motive or karma or gyan touch, only for Krishna's pleasure, that is that's when we can perform Shuddha Bhakti. Then we discussed this, but we will read also. Free from material motives in this Krishna consciousness movement, one's consciousness must be changed. If consciousness is aimed towards material enjoyment, it is material consciousness. But if it is aimed towards serving Krishna, it is Krishna consciousness. Most of the times, until the heart becomes fully pure, our motive will be mixed. I'm trying to serve Krishna through this, and my consciousness may also be aimed toward material enjoyment. That's what makes it mixed devotional service. Now, naturally, there is no shortcut to attain Shuddha Bhakti directly tomorrow. But we keep on adding Krishna. Even if we are doing Mishra Bhakti, which is unavoidable for some of us, at least for me, that Krishna factor in it, Krishna factor, Krishna factor, Krishna factor, Krishna factor, that itself, Bhaktya Sanjayate Bhakti. Bhakti grows from Bhakti. Whatever little Bhakti I can do, even if it is mixed, that will eventually lead to more Bhakti composition. Like, for example, in the beginning, my composition may be 10% or 1% Bhakti and 99% me only. Then, because of that, Bhakti give rise to Bhakti. After 1 year, my composition will be 5% of Bhakti. And Bhakti Sanjayate Bhakti means Bhakti itself will keep growing, 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 and it will overtake itself. Today, I was having a discussion with one devotee. Karma and jnana are not the cause of bhakti, only bhakti is the cause of bhakti. Bhakti begins with the agyat sukriti, unknowingly rendering devotional service. And that itself lead to more bhakti. Bhakti is the cause of bhakti. So more and more, even if it is mishra, mixed, more and more, bhakti composition will grow, 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 and it will engulf everything else will go, only bhakti will remain. That's when the consciousness is only for the pleasure of Krishna. It's amazing, actually. So this is okay. Then there is transcendental to activities of body and mind, jnana karma anavritam, unalloyed devotional service, which is transcendental to the activities of the body and mind, such as jnana and karma, is called pure bhakti. We touched it, and more in-depth discussion we will do in our nectar of devotion discussion. So now we come to the next topic, which is how Lord devotee should not be seen. First is don't see devotees, don't see the bodily defects of devotees. One should therefore not see a pure devotee from a materialistic point of view. Materialistic point of view means काले हैं ये. This is American devotee. This is this devotee. Um, this devotee mouth smells. This devotee this devotee doesn't know how to speak English also. He stammers. This devotee and fill in the blanks. This devotee, what kind of clothes this devotee is wearing? Or mm, um, anyways. So one should therefore not see a pure devotee from a materialistic point of view. No one should criticize the bodily defects of a pure devotee. If there are such defects, they should be overlooked. Rather see the devotional aspect of the devotee, how the devotees engage in serving Krishna. Don't see the devotee from the physical aspect. Okay, then the second is fault. Even if a devotee sometimes seems to engage in abominable activities, he should be considered a sadhu, a friendly person, because his actual identity is that of one engaged in the loving service of the Lord. This is a verse from Bhagavad Gita. Even if somebody performs the most abominable act, do not judge that devotee. Do not find fault in that devotee. Even if the devotee performs it is a suduracharo, the most abominable act. Do not do that. Krishna says, I consider him saintly. Why? Prabhupada says there in the purport, Maya is very strong and sometimes the Maya may overcome. But because the devotee is, that is because of Anya Vilash is there, enjoying propensity is there, which is very deep. Um, but because the devotees engage in Krishna's service, gradually all those things will be pure, will be purified, and only pure devotion will remain. So, occasional fall down or the most abominable act, don't judge devotee or don't find fault in them, don't criticize. Sometimes we see something wrong in a devotee and we start to criticize. This devotee becomes very angry very easily. This devotee has a controlling nature. This devotee, this devotee, I don't know. Um, this devotee doesn't do any service. This devotee is just just comfort prasad. Or this devotee, there are so many things that we may see in a devotee, and then we may find fault and we may speak. But rather, nectar of devotion says mentally honor anybody who chants, even occasionally. Mentally honor them. Why? Because that devotion will increase. As long as they are practicing devotion, just see, are they chanting? Are they coming to temple? Are they doing little bit of devotional service? If yes, then that will gradually increase, and maybe in this life, maybe very quickly, in some lifetime, very soon, they'll become pure devotees also, and Krishna will take care of them. So we don't have the right to find fault, or even if we see fault, uh, don't speak about it. The moment, the moment we speak, offense is created. Yes, Prem Pallavi Mataji, Dangal Pranams Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Shri Krishna Prabhupada. Prabhu, I had a question in this. Actually, this just a few days ago, I was thinking about this. I was reading a purport. I think somewhere Prabhupada was sharing that in Kali Yuga, that when the offense is in the thought process, not in the action of the words, then there is no repercussions, right?
Mm.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to understand based on
Right.
that purport. And I was thinking, if that is the case, then I was also trying to understand that pastime of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, where that sadhu will be going, and then in the mind he smiles with one thing which was not even there, but yet they were there. If it is, even if it was in a thought, like what was the message that the Lord was trying to convey? Do I make sense, Prabhu? I mean, I don't know if I'm trying to
Yes.
articulate it correctly.
There it was a misunderstanding. It was not any offense. No offense was committed.
Correct.
But the misunderstanding was physical because Rupa Goswami laughed. If
Okay, so
Rupa
it was okay. Okay, go ahead,
answer,
Prabhu. Yes, no, I think I got it because it was an action. It was just didn't remain in the thought. It moved. That's what it is, or
there was I mean Rupa Goswami perfectly pure. That was like
right?
intentional offenses also counts.
Bapre. Hmm.
We will see that today. Today a lot about Vaishnava Aparadh. We will tell
Uh,
many stories about
Right. Okay. Okay, Prabhu. Prabhu, I also had one more thing. This is something years ago this has happened. Like when you were mentioning about fall down, like, sometimes we hear about certain fall downs about devotees, right? And I think, again, I'm not exactly telling what Maharaj said, but I'm just sharing the essence of it. In that, Radhanath Maharaj once said, the person who fell down, right? They served, this was actually regarding a sannyasi in Indian. That is Prabhupada disciple who served so much, so their Krishna consciousness 99%, but their offense may be 1%. But for us, our Krishna conscious is 1%, but our offensive mentality can be 99%. So don't get there, So I don't. I just wanted to share that thing came up to me when you were sharing.
Thank you. Really. Okay. Um, okay. In other words, a devotee, he is not to be considered an ordinary human being. Um, Ordinary human being means we bring them to our level, the devotees to our level. For example, if I become angry and they become angry, then they are also like me only. Or everybody becomes angry, he also becomes angry, and we consider their fault as like um, um, how we see people in this material world. With the same vision we see devotee, we reflect the common vision on devotee's action. That's why he did like this. So we kind of consider them as ordinary people, because it is said the intention of a devotee cannot be known. And because we cannot know the intention of somebody, if we judge them by external action, then we will consider them and others as non-different, and we judge both of their intention must be similar. So this is like bringing them to a human level. One thing Srila Prabhupada said, um, it's an offense to consider Guru as a human being. Prabhupada says. Okay, the essence is please do not find fault in devotees. Okay, then how a devotee should not be seen family background. Whether the devotee comes from a family of previous acharyas or from an ordinary family, they should be treated equally. Means um, there one should not think, oh, here is an American Swami, Goswami Prabhupada says, and discriminate against him. Nor should one think, here is Nityananda Vamsa Goswami. Basically, don't form a conception, good or bad, based on one's family background. I remember one time I went to this place called Kardaha, which is the place where Nityananda Prabhu stayed for maybe 30 years. This is in near Mayapur, near Panihati actually. There is a place, and there we met one person, and he was like 11th or 12th descendant of Nityananda Prabhu, and everybody was looking, wow, he's a descendant of Nityananda Prabhu. There are also Nityananda Vamsa Goswami, means they are descendant of Nityananda Prabhu. They're also there in Vrindavan, in Shringarvat. They are in charge of Shringarvat temple. So one think, oh, these are great souls. So Prabhupada says no. Or based on this person is born in a Shudra family. So don't judge or American, or don't judge devotees on a from a family background. There is an example of Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family. Narottam Das Thakur was born in Kayasth family, which is like not very high class from material perspective, but they are like eternal associates of the Lord. Um, so don't judge devotees based on that. Then this is a elephant. It's green because he is mad elephant. Um, Consequences of offending a Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada says very serious consequences often. So we discussed about different family, like different backgrounds. Don't see the devotee based on one's background as a human, from the family background, from bodily defects. Um, or from even if they perform abominable activity or do something or speak in a certain way or whatever, don't still whatever the devotee does mentally on, so difficult actually. Rupa Goswami said mentally honor them. Even if I honor you because you are a devotee, that's what Rupa Goswami wants. Even if casually, what to speak about those, if defects are there and those who are initiated, um, or like Madhyamadikari, or worshipping the deities as per this definition. Um, Even if there is faults of various kinds, bodily, mental, physical, verbal, uh, even if they engage in abominable activities, even if they behave critically or speak critically, still, if you see them, mentally honor. But at the same time, we should see what association is favorable for me and what association is not favorable for me. If it is not favorable, His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj says respect from distance. Maharaj says that. But still, respect from distance, still bow down from distance. This is a devotee in a way. Okay, but if we don't follow these injunctions, then Srila Prabhupada says, and we offend a devotee, Vaishnava Aparadh, then what are the consequences? So that's the second part of it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described this offense as Hati Mata, the mad elephant offense. The mad elephant can create a disaster, especially when it enters into a nicely trimmed garden. So, mad elephant, it is mentioned as the most um, like cause maximum destruction. And our bhakti is compared to a seedling stage, like we are beginners, um, and we are carefully watering by hearing and chanting, carefully trying to grow, very neophytes, very new, carefully trying to develop little bit attraction towards Krishna. And sapling or seedling or little creeper, it's our bhakti creeper, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So very weak actually, very sensitive. And if an elephant comes there, he will just like he'll just like um through his breathing only we'll be like toddling here and there. And what if he steps on us? If our elephant step, or what if even if we are a great tree like Vraksh, very powerful, um, the mad elephant can uproot the tree also. And for us, especially in a seedling stage, but even if we become very mature, we will see examples of those who are very mature in devotion, even at the stage of bhav. They also, because of Vaishnava Aparadh, their bhakti was uprooted. So Srila Prabhupada says this thing is very serious. Uh, we must be fearful of Vaishnava Aparadh. You should always think like I'm afraid of offending a devotee. That is a healthy fear. Lord Krishna says should have healthy fears. Fear of Maya, fear of falling down, fear of giving into our material propensities, fear of offending a devotee. These fears should be there. Then very obstructive and dangerous. From the purpose, Srila Prabhupada says, a person cannot derive any spiritual benefit when he offends the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Very obstructive means our devotion is progressing, and whenever there is a Vaishnava Aparadh and our devotion is obstructed, and now we cannot, mind becomes very disturbed. Now, it like puts a big wall or a big speed breaker in our flow of absorption in holy name. Yeah, so it obstruct our growth, and very dangerous. Uh, there is, I will not tell all the stories in detail, but it's just more of a, I am sure all the devotees have heard most of these stories. Um, Ramchandra Khan was the like the sarpanch of a village, like the president of a village, you can say, most influential personality. That time he was very wealthy, very famous. And that time Haridas Thakur was traveling, and Haridas Thakur started staying in that village under a in a cottage. He built a like small hut, planted tulasi, and started chanting the holy name. And because of his purity, naturally, today we were discussing in Bhagavatam class, um, devotees develop that effulgence, pure devotees. They like become very effulgent gradually. So Haridas Thakur, just by seeing Haridas Thakur, people were becoming transformed. Just by talking to him, they were they were getting immensely benefited. So naturally, the fame of Haridas Thakur spread across. And Ramchandra Khan became very envious because he was thinking, I am the Raja, the king, the Sarpanch, and people are respecting this saint more than people are respecting me. So he became envious. So he hired a prostitute, and he says, I will send some constables, like cops, and then you have to, with your beauty, you have to um, um, unite with Haridas Thakur, and the constables will catch you red-handed. Um, and in this way, Haridas Thakur will be exposed as a hypocrite or like show off devotee. And then people won't respect him anymore. And then I will gain the respect which is due for me because I am the king. So that was the mentality of Ramchandra Khan. Naturally, not going in detail of the story, but because of this offense later on, he lost his wealth. People threw him out of the village, lost his position, no followers. Um, so, like, it is a Vaishnava Prad actually is destructive, not only spiritually, materially also. Even I mean, it's scary, but even one may lose one's um, whatever one possess, um, wealth, job, family, anything can happen from Vaishnava Prad. I mean, it's scary, I know, and I don't want to scare devotees, but at the same time, this is education, and we are trying to see that okay, this is something I must really be careful about, and that's why these stories are given, not to scare us, but to caution us that okay, this thing, take this thing very seriously. Um, then with Haridas Thakur is there was one Brahmana. His name was Gopal Chakravarti, and he was very knowledgeable in Shastra. And when he would speak, people would come and listen. So one time Haridas Thakur said that the holy name should be chanted loudly, not in the mind. So Gopal Chakravarti, he was offended. He says, no, the Brahmana should, or the practitioner, spiritual, devotional practitioner, or whatever, should chant their mantras in the mind. They should not chant it loud. Haridas Thakur says, no, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra should be chanted out loud, not in the mind. Gopal Chakravarti became so offended because he was famous, he has many followers, and Haridas Thakur said something, and he became offended, Gopal Chakravarti. Um, so he said to Haridas Thakur, all right, um, if what I am saying is correct, that the mantra should be chanted in the mind, then your nose will fall off. Haridas Thakur did not participate in such conversation. A devotee is very careful. Anywhere critical, they give the knowledge. Anywhere critical, they withdraw. Actually, they don't go into that um, um, argumentation anytime. So Haridas Thakur just withdraw and he left. But because he spoke such harsh words to Haridas, he actually became very critical of Haridas Thakur. He even criticized Haridas Thakur for his background because Haridas Thakur was born in Muslim family and Chakravarti is naturally from a Brahmana family. So because of this offense, Gopal Chakravarti nose fell off and he contracted leprosy. So that's one instance that showed that even physical disease can happen because of Vaishnava Aparadh. Then there is another example of physical disease where Sarvam Bhattacharya, he invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for prasad. And Sarvam Bhattacharya has a daughter, and daughter's husband name was Amogha. Amogha was very envious. Envious people means they want respect and glory for oneself. They cannot see anybody else being glorified. Nature of envy. So when Amogha came, he saw that father-in-law is so nicely respecting and worshipping and serving Lord Chaitanya. So Amogha became envious. So Amogha says that what kind of sannyasi are you? Eat so much, and being a sannyasi, you eat like this. And then Sambhavatacharya became very angry. Then in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just smiled and did not say anything. Then the same night, Amogha contracted cholera, like heavy coughing and at the verge of death. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Amogha. He ran. The news came to Lord Chaitanya that Amogha contracted cholera. That time people were dying because of cholera. It was like epidemic that time. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went and ran to Amogha's home where he was there because of Amogha's connection with Sarvabhauma. Because Lord Chaitanya did not want, because if Amogha dies, then the daughter of Sarvabhauma will become widow. And Sarvabhauma will go through a lot of stress and anxiety because of that. So, because of connection to a devotee, Mahaprabhu went and Mahaprabhu told Amogha, you are Brahmana. And how can you, why did you allow yourself to speak out of envy? And then Mahaprabhu told Amogha, don't worry about it, Amogha, chant the name of Krishna. Then Amogha chanted the name of Krishna and became purified because Mahaprabhu asked him. Amogha started beating himself, kicking his own mouth, because Amogha was feeling so bad that how can I criticize the Lord? Because Amogha became self-realized, so he could see his fault very clearly, and he could not tolerate his own faults when he became purified. So that's another example of how Vaishnava Prad can even result in physical disease. Um, then there is another story of Advaita Acharya and Sachi Mata, where Sachi Mata had two sons. One was Lord Chaitanya, one was Lord Chaitanya's elder brother whose name was Vishwarup. And Vishwarup would go and hear Bhagavatam from Advaita Acharya. Vishwarup became very inspired and he took sannyas. Not because Advaita Acharya said, because he was very inspired the by the process of Bhakti Yoga. So he took sannyas and didn't want to, like he just wanted to dedicate his life to practice Bhakti Yoga and serving the Lord. And Sachi Mata became internally, she was very like disturbed because her son took sannyas and left her. The elder son is no more in the home, he left the house and he will never return. So Sachi Mata became unhappy with Advaita, like very, she was like angry. Internally, she was angry with Advaita. She said his name is Advaita, but he's actually like Dvaita. Dvaita because he's full of duality. He separated the son from the mother. In that way, Sachi Mata had that feeling for Advaita. Um, um, and because of that feeling, this is again Prempali Mataji to your question. Was there a reaction to it? Nothing externally happened, but because Sachi Mata's mind was critical, she could not develop love for Krishna. But it's not, there was no as such like disease because she didn't speak about it. But she was mentally critical about a devotee. So when we are angry with a devotee or critical about a devotee inside our mind, we will see that if we are chanting the holy name of Krishna and if we can hear and absorb, and if a thought comes that this devotee is like this, immediately we will notice that now I cannot focus, I cannot absorb. But then if we give up that thought and mentally respect that devotee, or physically bow down to that devotee, even if the devotee is not there, be repentant, be repentful. Why I'm thinking like this? Why my mind is disturbed? And after a few minutes of trying, again we can absorb in the holy name. So in whichever mind is critical about devotees, the absorption to Krishna won't come. So it's like there is so there is no direct reaction, but love will not awaken in the heart. Sachi Mata. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave love for Krishna to everybody. Devotee said, "My dear Sachi Mata, this during Mahaprakash Leela, and anybody remaining." And Sachimata was like, when will I receive love? The Lord, my own son, he has given love to everybody, but I haven't received love for God yet. When Sachimata would see the symptom of love of Krishna in everybody, Sachimata would be surprised that their absorption, their hair standing on end, they are crying, their symptoms of ecstasy, and Sachimata is not feeling it. So Sachimata is like, my son is not showing his mercy onto me. And then devotees went and they said, my lord, what about your mother? Sachi, she is Yashoda, she is Devaki. And Lord Chaitanya said, I will not give her love of God. And devotees were surprised. Surprised, my lord, she is your mother. The whole universe have you because of her. And Lord Chaitanya said, no, because Lord Chaitanya is sitting in the heart of everyone. So Lord Chaitanya said, no, because my mother, she has anger towards Advaita. uh,
I
so
was just even in that is such a nice point, and I'm thinking in Krishna Lila, the same Mother Yashoda when she fights with the other, the other gopis, like when they come to complain, that time also this is also the love of for her child, and that is also the love for the child. But there's so much. Uh,
uh, but Mahaprabhu Lord does many things through same pastime.
yes,
So
yes,
he's teaching a lesson also
yes.
through the same past.
Yes, Prabhu, I also had this thing is that when you were sharing, right? Yes, when we are struggling and respecting a devotee, the biggest challenge, again, this is a personal thing for me, I face is like my chanting is, I'm struggling with my chanting. So as we, because it's not like overnight everything, but as we make those attempts, like paying obeisances, the instructions that you were sharing, that eventually at least the Lord will see that effort of ours, and then that thought or that emotion that we are carrying also will be removed, right, Prabhu, from the root?
Yes, based on our desire. When
Yeah.
the Lord sees that I don't desire to have these thoughts, then the Lord will give us a perspective by which that thought will go away, or Lord will give us forgetfulness.
Hmm. Forgetfulness means of the incident of that whole thing, so that we can just.
Focus on our
Yes, yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
thank you. Um, so devotees ask Lord Chaitanya that, my Lord, then what should she do? And the Lord said, she has to take the dust of Advaita and smear it all over her body. Then only I will give her love of God. Then Sachimata was listening everything. And Sachimata was like, she told Advaita, give me your dust, my dear Acharya. And then Advaita said, what are you talking? You are the mother of the Lord. By giving you my dust, I'll go to hell. And then he started glorifying Sachimata. Advaita Acharya started glorifying. How can one find a devotee like Sachimata? And then glorifying Sachimata, glorifying Advaita Acharya fainted. Just by glorifying Sachimata, he was so overwhelmed by glorifying Sachimata. Um, then when Advaita Acharya fainted, Sachimata ran and took the dust from his feet and smeared all over her body. Then Lord Chaitanya gave her love of God, and then she also fainted. So in this way, beautiful pastime, but Lord taught a lesson also. And then there is a story of Devananda Pandit. Devananda Pandit was a very wonderful speaker of Bhagavatam, and he would relish Bhagavatam while speaking. And one time, Shivas Thakur, he went to listen Bhagavatam. Devananda Pandit had many students, and he would explain Bhagavatam every day in the morning. There was Bhagavatam class. And one time when Shivas Thakur came, and when he heard the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam and the pastimes of devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam, then Shivas Thakur, being a pure devotee, he could not tolerate his emotions, started crying. And the students felt, Devananda Pandit is speaking. So in this way, he was crying and tears are coming from his eyes. The student felt it as a disturbance to the class of Devananda Pandit. So Devananda Pandit continued speaking. He didn't say anything, but the student picked up Shivas Thakur and they not like threw him, but they kind of like kept outside the house and go away. Like in a way, they kind of threw him in one way or another. Um, and Shivas Thakur was very humble, naturally, imbibed with love of God. He just kept on remembering the story that he has heard from Devananda Pandit. And while crying, he went home and he was crying whole night, just remembering this incident of Srimad Bhagavatam. And because the teacher, Devananda Pandit, did not say anything to the students, and he witnessed the aparadh and he kept quiet. So Devananda Pandit also became incriminated by the offense, um, and he lost his taste in Bhagavatam. And now he can never relish Bhagavatam again. But after very, very long time, many, 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 many years later, Devananda Pandit rendered service to Vakreshwar Pandit, who was a very close associate of Lord Chaitanya. So that melted the heart of Lord Chaitanya. Because the devotee was pleased, he offended a devotee. But because another devotee was, but it was not intentional for Devananda Pandit. If it is intentionally we displease a devotee, then the remedy is to, we will see, come to the remedies also for Vaishnava Aparadh. So the remedy is to beg forgiveness from those to whom we have offended. But if you don't know what is my struggle because of why I have lost taste, what wrong did I do? If we mm, unintentionally make mistakes, then pleasing devotees helps overcome aparadh. Invite devotees home, feed them prasad, some way or the other, try to serve devotees. So Devananda Pandit, actually Vakreshwar Pandit was a dancer, and when he was dancing, um, Devananda Pandit saw the ecstasy of Vakreshwar Pandit, and because Vakreshwar Pandit could kind of fell into the crowd or people were watching, Vakreshwar Pandit was completely absorbed, moving his hand, and in ecstasy like a madman he was dancing. So Devananda Pandit went all across, going throughout the dance for hours or whatever, and he was guarding Vakreshwar Pandit. So Vakreshwar Pandit, the ecstasy doesn't get disturbed. And later on, when Vakreshwar Pandit came to the senses, or some traffic is coming, and Vakreshwar Pandit just protected, like Devananda Pandit protected Vakreshwar Pandit from, so that Vakreshwar Pandit can remain absorbed as long as he can. Devananda Pandit was impressed by Vakreshwar Pandit dancing or devotional dancing. So Vakreshwar Pandit, when he came to external consciousness, he was so grateful to Devananda Pandit, and he felt ashamed, Vakreshwar Pandit, that what happened to me in public, because a devotee does not show his devotion in public. But because he was very pleased with Devananda Pandit received the mercy of devotee. So later on, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and then he met Devananda Pandit. Devananda Pandit told the Lord, asked the Lord, Lord, I should never speak on Bhagavatam. I cannot relish. My life has become like completely devoid of devotion. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says no. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him love uh, and complete absorption. And he told Devananda Pandit how to speak on Bhagavatam based on Abhideya, based on Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan. That's how you should glorify Bhagavatam. But he gave him everything. And that's because of his service rendered to Vakreshwar Pandit. Then this is the story that Prem Palvi Mataji was mentioning, where I won't see the story in detail, but this is one of the meditation of Rupa Goswami, where Sri Krishna pushed a branch of a tree when Srimati Radharani was plucking flowers, thinking that this flower is so nice and it's approachable. So she held the branch by one hand, with other hand she was plucking the flower and putting in her basket that was hanging to her body. Then Lord Krishna, he removed his step and the branch went all the way up. When the branch went up, then Srimati Radharani wanted to hold the branch back because she really wanted those flowers to make garland for Lord Krishna. And then when she was trying very hard so the branch don't go away, she found that she's being carried away because the branch was very heavy and like it's a big branch. So and then she's now floating in the air. And uh, Rupa Goswami, when he saw this trick of Bhagwan Shri Krishna, then he started laughing. Uh, at that time, when Rupa Goswami was laughing, um, uh, you know, a person who walks on one leg, basically, like he was limping. He cannot walk properly, and he was walking by that time. Naturally, Rupa Goswami is sitting on the bank of Yamuna under a tree and chanting his japa. And this devotee was walking by, and this devotee thought that Rupa Goswami is laughing at me because my body is invalid. So he became very um, um, like he felt like he felt bad actually that Rupa Goswami is a Goswami, but he's laughing at me like that. And Rupa Goswami immediately lost his meditation. So later, this is an example of unintentional offense. Then later on, Rupa Goswami asked his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, brother, I was having this smaran on Krishna's pastimes and I lost it. What is the cause? Then Sanatan Goswami said, if you have lost it, then some devotee is unhappy with you. Rupa Goswami said, but I don't know. What do I do? Then Sanatan Goswami said, invite everybody for prasad because it was a small community and very exalted devotees would live there and they all would come together. It was a small community in Vrindavan that time. So Sanatan Goswami says, if anybody doesn't show up, and it's not that they have many engagements or it's they're all renunciates basically and Babajis basically. If anybody doesn't show up, then you know that they are not happy with you. So Rupa Goswami invited all of them, and this one devotee who was limping, he didn't show up. Rupa Goswami understood. Later on, Rupa Goswami begged forgiveness, and the devotee said, "Goswami ji, you are Goswami. You are the leader of Vrindavan. Your devotion is super exemplary. I just felt bad, but I had no intention about you in any means. But the fact that he felt bad itself broke the samadhi of Rupa Goswami. Then Rupa Goswami could again absorb. Rupa Goswami mentioned that um, it was what was going on in my mind. I didn't even notice you were walking by. Please forgive me. Um, Rupa Goswami is like, he's begging forgiveness for the mistake that he didn't even do actually. Um, there is this another example of Roop Kaviraj. Roop Kaviraj was the follower of Narottam Das Thakur, uh, and he would live on the bank of Radhakund. And he was very well known Babaji among the Radhakund um, residents. Everybody, and he was very absorbed in his sadhana. It is said that this is the devotee I was referring who attained the stage of bhava, deep absorption for Krishna. And every day devotees would come and um, Roop Kaviraj Babaji would glorify um, Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So one time, one very dear devotee of the Lord, her name was Krishna Priya Thakurani. She was actually one of the descendant of Srinivasacharya. So Krishna Priya Thakurani came and to hear Bhagavatam from Roop Kaviraj Babaji. And Roop Kaviraj Babaji noticed that Krishna Priya Thakurani was, while he was speaking, Krishna Priya Thakurani was, so like her lips were moving and she was chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And when Babaji saw that her lips was moving, then Babaji chastised her. Babaji said, I am speaking Bhagavatam, and it is such a disrespect that while I am speaking Bhagavatam, you are chanting the holy name of Krishna, and you have come to hear me. And when you have come, when I am speaking, and you are disrespecting me by chanting. And Krishna Priya Thakurani cried. She said, Babaji, I had no intention to disrespect you. I just cannot stop chanting. The holy name doesn't leave my tongue. Even if I try to hold my tongue continuously chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So because of this offense, Rup Kaviraj actually because of pride, he has some pride, Rup Kaviraj. And because of pride, he committed an offense to Krishna Priya Thakurani. And then he lost his absorption. And gradually he started becoming more critical because of one offense leads to another actually. When one committed one offense, the mind becomes disturbed. When mind becomes disturbed, even other dealings becomes sore. And slowly, Rup Kaviraj Babaji committed more and more offenses. And gradually he fell down from his spiritual position. He lost everything. It is also said that Rup Kaviraj Babaji became a ghost in the next life because his offenses become more and more grievous, and then he started misguiding his followers. He told his followers that no need to follow Ekadashi. Ekadashi is more like Vaidi Bhakti. We are Raganuga Bhaktas. So in that way, he would speak on higher topics now, and his philosophy became, because his mind was disturbed, his conclusions became improper, and he deviated from the teachings of Parampara, misguided and those who were sincere also, and his life became very sad actually. So, what are the various ways offense may happen? Uh, just 5 more minutes, I think 2, 3 more slides are there. Various ways an offense may happen. One is criticism. Unfortunately, we are surrounded. This is Srila Prabhupada speaking. Um, Srila Prabhupada was very, became very sad when devotees were criticizing Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, in order to serve his Guru Maharaj, he asked all his god brothers that, please, this is the desire of our Guru Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, to preach in English language all over the world. Please help me. Please come with me. We will preach together. But then they all were like, they all just like did not support in any means except very handful. And when Srila Prabhupada went struggling, even with heart attacks, without any money, with a pure desire to serve Guru and Krishna and fulfill their Vani, their instruction, and struggled for a year, and then slowly, so many people came and joined the Hare Krishna movement. Um, and when Srila Prabhupada brought them back to Vrindavan, these god brothers, they actually became like critical, and they started criticizing Prabhupada. Like a sannyasi does not go outside the shore, and Swamiji left, and women should not be on the altar, but Swamiji is putting women onto the altar. Um, they were like very conservative, but Srila Prabhupada was very liberal actually. Um, and see the followers of Swamiji, they are like, they just come and they sport, and in this way they became very critical. So Prabhupada made, but Prabhupada was that time, Prabhupada was translating this nectar of instruction. So Prabhupada write this in the purport actually. Prabhupada says, unfortunately, we are surrounded by neophyte God brothers who do not appreciate the extraordinary activities of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. They try to criticize us in every respect. Many people, even God brothers, were criticizing Prabhupada and were criticizing the followers of Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada says they try to criticize us in every respect. Everything they were criticizing Prabhupada and the followers of Hare Krishna movement. So just by that criticism, actually Prabhupada was sad. Um, uh, Prabhupada later on says it is very regrettable. Prabhupada says that, and we are facing, like uh, somebody is trying so hard to spread the message of Lord Krishna in Paschatya Desh, in the Western country, and helping them to develop relationship with Krishna and bringing them, tolerating who they are, and with mercy and compassion. And instead of encouraging them and helping them to bring to Krishna, they started criticizing them. So Prabhupada said it is very regrettable. So, anyways, um, one should not criticize, because if we criticize whom we criticize, naturally they won't feel good and we have a reaction. Then bodily defects. If we consider the bodily defect of a Vaishnav, we should understand that we are committing an offense at the lotus feet of the devotee. We discussed that. Then jealous of an empowered Vaishnav. We should not be jealous, because if we are jealous, then we'll do something to put them down, like Ramchandra Khan we discussed. Then one should not be proud of one's accomplishment. If we are proud, then then also we um, um, like Roop Kaviraj, we discussed Babaji of Radhakot. Rama Harshan Sutta became proud when he was speaking Bhagavatam and he didn't pay respect to Balaramji. So how proud of one's accomplishment. If we have pride of our devotion, that's one of the weed that grow when we practice bhakti's um, pride for our bhakti. And when we become proud for our bhakti, then we think that I have the right to criticize. My Guru Maharaj says that. when I become proud, then I have the right to correct, to tell them where they are wrong. Why? Because my bhakti is very superior, because I am very well situated and I have a very good deep taste in the holy name. So, and they all, I can correct them, I can criticize, I have the right. Maharaj says this is the nature of pride. And then um, um, again we lose it. It is offensive to try to give advice or to correct a spiritual master. There's another example of Ramchandra Puri. His Guru Maharaj was Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri was invalid and in his last stages of devotion. And Madhavendra Puri was crying that I have no devotion for Krishna. This is the nature of pure devotion. A pure devotee does not feel he has any devotion. So Madhavendra Puri was crying, I have no devotion for Krishna. Where will I go now? I am at the fag end of my life. What will happen to me? So in this way, he was lamenting that his life is wasted. This Madhavendra Puri, eternal associate of Shri Radha and Krishna. And Ramchandra Puri, he, like it is said, we should not judge the activities of pure devotees, cannot understand them. Um, because we understand them from external perspective, then we will misunderstand them basically. So Ramchandra Puri, he corrected and he gave advice to his guru. He said, Guru Maharaj, if you're not able to focus on Krishna, then you can try focus on the effulgence of Krishna Brahman. I mean, he gave up actually very bad advice actually. So Madhavendra Puri already is not able to, like, he in his devotional lamentation that I have no love for Krishna, and on the other hand, my own disciple is like saying such things. So Madhavendra Puri says, get lost from here. Guru Maharaj said that. So because Guru was displeased, later on Ramchandra Puri, he became very offensive. And it is said that later on his offense kept on increasing, and later on he even found fault in Lord Chaitanya. And nobody want his mind was disturbed, and because Guru's stature was very high, Madhavendra Puri, the effect was very severe on Ramchandra Puri. So, how do we avoid offenses? Every devotee should be ready to take instruction from a superior Vaishnava. Prabhupada says. If they say something, you also, um, on a practical note, it is also said that we cannot uh, do what everybody says. Um, but we can respectfully say that we would love to do this service, Prabhu, that you are giving, or Mata, that you are giving. But I've been engaged in this service. Uh, this devotee gave me this service. Uh, if you like, you can talk to with that devotee and you can tell me which, or you can talk to that devotee. And this will basically be respectful. Naturally, we can take instruction. We don't, especially in ISKCON society now, we cannot follow everybody. It's a fact also. Um, but we can be respectful to them. And basically, even if we have to say no to some service or something somebody has said, we should say no in such a way that we um, pacify their heart, or we don't disturb their mind, or our language, our words, our gesture can be respectful, and our reasoning for what we are speaking can be logical, or basically make sense, or deal with the situation in such a way then the other devotee goes out thinking, oh, yeah, I understand this devotee situation. Let me find somebody else. Basically, every dealing, it is said like Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, he says, our dealing with devotee should be in such a way that one should feel that my relationship with Krishna is based on my dealing with this devotee. Or dealing with devotee should be very conscious. Like with every devotee we are dealing, we should deal in such a way that did I hurt this devotee? That much level of thoughtful dealing should be there. Cannot be casual. Um, because otherwise, hmm, our progress is very much dependent upon our dealings with devotees. Then one should therefore avoid observing a pure devotee externally. Um, oh, this devotee, like, um, this devotee doesn't come for Mangal Arati. This devotee is running, looks like this devotee is maybe in passion. Like externally, we may judge. Um, um, this devotee doesn't sit and chant. He's a pure devotee. He walks and chant. We don't know from where our mind may present a fault based on externals. Um, 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 oh, um, anyways, so one should therefore avoid observing a pure devotee externally. One should try to see the internal features and understand how he is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Don't see the devotee from an instance. See the devotee's life. How this devotee life is engaged in serving the Lord. Don't judge them on one instance, please. Um, See the internal feature, understand how the devotee is engaged in transcendent loving service of the Lord. See, every devotee is glorious actually. Every devotee is sincere in a way, generally speaking. Every devotee wants to make progress. Every devotee is trying. No, none of the devotee want to commit an offense. But every devotee has a particular nature, but they are trying their best according to their nature. Um, Anyways, then how to overcome offenses if we have committed some offenses? How do we overcome? Fall at the devotee's feet and beg for forgiveness. Sincerely repent. I offended the devotee. I should not have done that. If the devotee is not appeased by our apologies, if we apologize, and if the offense is like really grave, and the devotee is not pacified by our apologies, then we should serve him for many days according to his desire. Then we should see, okay, what can I do for this devotee? Serve that devotee for many days so that his heart is pacified. If the offense is so great that the devotee's anger does not die, then one should take full and constant shelter of the chanting of the holy name. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that in time, the divine power of the holy name will free the person from his offense. However, he warns that one should not take advantage of this to avoid begging for forgiveness and serving the devotee. This type of mentality implicates one in further offense. Harinam Chintamani by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in Harinam Chintamani, if you know the devotee who is offended, we should beg forgiveness. Um, but we should not avoid begging forgiveness or serving them um, in the lieu of the holy name. Or they are offended, that's okay. I will try to take shelter of the holy name. Holy name will overcome me. That mentality Krishna does not like. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that mentality implicates one in further offense. Like there is a saying, "Ek to chori ubar sina chori." Matlab, first we offend and then we don't want to take a lower position also, and then we think that the holy name will help me. So that's the mentality of Durvasa Muni, where Durvasa Muni offended Ambarish Maharaj, but he want to beg forgiveness from Narayan for us the holy name of Narayan or Krishna. He is okay to beg forgiveness from Narayan, but he is not willing to take a humble position in front of Durvasa. Likewise, we commit an offense to a devotee, then we should not hope that Krishna directly will help. When Durvasamuni went to Narayan and said, help me, Narayan says, I am helpless. Likewise, when we approach Krishna to help me, because of the offense I have committed to a devotee, Krishna says the same thing, I am helpless, Prabhu, I am helpless, Mataji. Krishna says, well, that devotee is very dear to me, whom you have offended. You go and beg forgiveness the moment that devotee forgives you. Um, my mercy is there. My mercy is right there for you.
Prabhu, would that come under one of the 10 offenses, Prabhu, committing sinful activities on the strength of the holy name?
That's the sinful activity.
So this won't be, because again, connecting it to the first offense, right? That is
Blasphemy.
blaspheming the devotees, like connecting those two. I was just think I wanted to check.
I mean, generally, how Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes sinful activity is like that offense is more like I can break regulative principles or perform some sins. By the holy name, it will counteract, and I won't have that reaction because I'm chanting. My sins will be eradicated. I mean, your understanding is perfect, although we are on the same page.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So one should not act like Durvasa Muni, hoping that Narayan will forgive me for my offense to Ambarish. Because eventually, even if we continuously chant the holy name will not reciprocate. And maybe 1 week, 2 weeks will pass by and we won't be able to absorb. And then we will realize that actually holy name is not helping me. In fact, the holy name is punishing me more and more. And then the holy name gives us realization that, Prabhu, you need the mercy of that devotee whom you have offended. And the moment we go and take a humble position in front of devotee, and devotee releases us, like in his heart, the sadness or the anger that devotee has, when he releases us of that, then we chant the holy name. Krishna is very pleased. Um, okay, last two slides. To disobey the orders of spiritual master. The result of offending the spiritual master is that the mantra one.
Sorry about that, Prabhuji. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem, Mataji. To disobey the orders of spiritual master, the result of offending the spiritual master is that the mantra one has received from the spiritual master, which is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that we receive from Sri Guru, loses its meaning and purpose. At the time of initiation, the spiritual master invests the holy name into the mantra. But if one offends the spiritual master, the mantra becomes useless. Subsequently, one falls into sinful company and adopts unauthorized scriptures. Or basically, the mantra will not reciprocate with us. Um, um, cast away the bad association, bogus scriptures, throw oneself at the lotus feet of one spiritual master, repenting piteously. This is another instruction in Harinam Chintamani Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Okay, this is the last slide. The Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees who come to this world are executing a mission, and therefore sometimes they act in a way that is very difficult to understand. It is said, therefore, Vaishnavira Kriya Mudra Vigyana Bhujai, which basically means the activities of devotees cannot be understood from an external perspective because we don't know what is their intention, what they want to achieve. But we have faith that if the devotee is doing something, their intention, directly or indirectly, is to serve Krishna through that. We just have that faith. But externally, we may not be able to understand that. And we may think how others would do this activity, the devotee is doing this activity for the same purpose. So that's why Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, like says, Vaishnavira Kriya Mudra Vigyana Bhuja. Even if one is a very learned and intelligent scholar, he cannot understand the activities of a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava accepts anything favorable for executing his mission. But foolish persons, not knowing the purpose of such exalted Vaishnavas, indulge in criticizing them. That is forbidden. Since no one can understand what a Vaishnava does for the purpose of executing his mission, to criticize such a Vaishnava is an offense called sadhu ninda. Um, don't criticize devotees because we cannot understand their activity. We cannot understand why they are doing. But their purpose, Krishna sees the intention. And Krishna knows that the intention, Krishna does not see the act, Krishna sees the intention. And Krishna knows the intention towards the devotee is to serve me. So Krishna does not feel bad. But another, somebody else, may see the same act, think, oh, what kind of person he is. Krishna says, Arey Baba, I am very pleased, then why are you interfering? He is serving me, I am pleased, I am reciprocating with him, he is pleased. Why do you have to come in between? All right. So, all right. Any discussion? Any um,
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
that
Sorry, Prabhuji. I unmuted myself to ask you a question and then I started talking. I'm so sorry, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, I have a question. You explained a lot of things on the, we should pay attention to devotees while, treating or dealing with them. But there is one thing that I'm not sure how to repent with it. When devotees think bad towards other devotees, they don't, confront them, but they think bad in their mind, and the other devotee is not aware of it. But you think bad about them. How we can overcome this? I mean, what kind of things we need to do in order to, ask forgiveness from Lord?
So you are saying we feel bad about some devotee, and what do I do so I don't feel think bad about them? How do I overcome that?
Yeah, I mean, how can we do pashyatap, Prabhuji? So
Oh,
we
yeah.
can start getting the mercy of Lord again, because things
Ah,
get blocked. You just get yourself blocked from Krishna's mercy. You don't get
ah,
absorbed in meditation and so things, because you have definitely done some bad things uh,
ah,
from Mansa level, Prabhuji, from Mansa level only, not just hurting them
ah,
personally.
Thank you, Matra. It's a wonderful consciousness. This repentance itself is very dear to Lord Krishna. Now, if we know the devotee who may have felt bad by some words or some action or some means, if we think we know, then it's always welcome to text that devotee that Prabhuji Mataji, if I said anything wrong or if I did anything wrong intentionally, unintentionally, please forgive me. And devotees are um, very merciful, and it is said that they forgive us nonetheless. But if we actually take a step forward and pray or beg for their mercy or request for their like just beg forgiveness in one way or the other, then they actually start praying for us and they pray to Krishna. Krishna, if there is anything that is obstructing this devotee, please let it go away. This devotee is taking a humble position. I'm feeling very bad. Krishna, please reciprocate with this devotee. So devotees are naturally like that. Anybody beg forgiveness, devotees immediately started praying to Krishna for their well-being. Devotees are kind to everyone. Um, um, and if we have some bad thoughts for a devotee, like I think your question is not that, but this just thought came to me. I'm saying if we have a bad thought for a devotee or critical mind for a devotee, then we can pray to Krishna. Krishna, I don't want this thought. Krishna, please remove this. Please change my perspective so um, my my view of this devotee can be transformed to positivity. And if after begging forgiveness, um, you one not you, if after begging forgiveness one still feel the reaction, then one should take shelter of the holy name.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Prabhuji, very quick question, Prabhuji. When we commit an offense towards a Vaishnava, we have a scope for begging, taking shelter of that Vaishnava and hoping for mercy and of the Vaishnava and Krishna. But the offense that comes out of the pride that one's feel that arises out of bhakti, and let's say that pride has not gone to that stage of offending a Vaishnava, but that pride is there. So that pride being there is itself an offense, Prabhuji. That's an inquiry.
It's not of offense, but it may lead our action may our action may cause us some harm in future. So if I mean it's a very wonderful question, and when we witness it, we should become afraid of it. We can pray to Krishna, Krishna, please. And if that pride does not go away, which is quite natural, just the nature of it. Then we pray to Krishna, Krishna, please humble me. And then Krishna will make us go through a day or two of some difficult situation, and that will go away.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Krishna is to devotees all the time. Humbles the devotees all the
Hmm.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Vinay here.
Dandavat Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So sometimes some devotees may be just not bad intention, but bad habits, or they may not have the best skills to communicate. Um, and that can put them in odd position without them even realizing uh, what uh, what what is happening. So how do we communicate that to that devotee?
Vinay Prabhu, I would ask you to repeat your question. In before, can I say one more line to Anantari Prabhu's question?
Yes.
Yes, some thoughts were coming. So, Anantari Prabhu, are you still there?
Prabhuji, please, please. Yes, Prabhuji.
So one thing more I was thinking, um, like I have seen this in myself. When pride comes, um, I first thing I'm talking about myself, Prabhuji here, is pride come when there is success. Success in we are doing very say we are doing very good in the holy name, or we are doing very good in our services. Maybe we are dressing very nicely, or we are preaching very nicely, or we are um, um, performing kirtan every time very nicely, or whenever there is some repeated success, I have seen becomes the cause of pride. One time we see at Krishna's mercy, multiple times we feel like, yeah, just I'm talking about myself only. So when that thought comes, I know within my heart, um, failure will come. Um, um, my service will not be effective. Um, and then it does happen. Um, and uh, um, that kind of pains us that we are not able to render service properly, and that humbles us. So every time I see pride in myself, I know that uh, um, I will be humbled. And over period of time, um, Krishna may remove that, and Krishna may kind of just bestow that mercy that it comes no more. Is that all right, Anantari Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, is there a way that we could like is there an antidote to pride that like before it arises in a full form that we could kind of like temper it before it goes too much, like kind of cut it like quickly?
Yeah, yeah. We see our success as Krishna's mercy, and we see that we any success we express with gratitude that Krishna, I'm grateful for engaging. Um, when we feel, I mean, the one humility is Krishna, I don't deserve it. Um, 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 you are only doing it. Um, um, you are only whatever the service is. The success is you. I'm just grateful that you're using me in this way, Krishna. My prayer is that you please keep me engaged in your loving service. So in that way, we give the like when any success comes, Srila Prabhupada says we should give the success back to Guru and Krishna, and that will nullify that. But if we feel that no, it was very nice and I did it very nice, And then when the moment we identify it, we pray to Krishna, Krishna, these thoughts, I don't like these thoughts that are coming to me. Um, Krishna, please help to remove these thoughts from my consciousness. And basically, we actively or we eagerly want our consciousness to be dear to Krishna, and we don't want them to distract us. Is it okay, Kiran Devi?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Kiran Devi. Hare Krishna. Vinay Prabhuji, please, at your service.
So I think the first thing you were saying to Ananthari Prabhu's last meditation, that when we get success and we get pride, we get realization that fall is coming the moment we get
Yes,
pride.
yes.
A lot of personal experiences I will share you alone.
It's our life, though. It keeps on repeating itself. Yeah.
Yeah, the moment you figure out that you have figured it out, God throws some a different angle.
Yes.
So, Rosie, I think one challenge which I have seen, most people have very, like in US, isolated lives. So, like we have one or two friends, and we just communicate with people with whom we have comfort.
Mm,
And suddenly we are put in a room with six people, and I'm not comfortable with most of them, and I don't know how to communicate. So sometimes it may not be bad intention, but lack of communication skills, which causes issues. So unless that is confronted or communicated back, that may cause more problems, right? So how do we communicate back when we see something is not right?
I followed you first half. Second half, I didn't follow you. Like, we are with many people and it's not intentional, but you said we
Like
may hurt.
we want to say something. If we see some problem, right? I want something to be perfect,
Mm,
and other person has to do the job, and he may
mm,
or may not have same perfection labels,
mm,
and that may irritate me, and then
mm.
I may communicate negatively.
Ah,
So my perfection is not the other person's perfection,
mm,
and I don't know how to communicate.
ah.
Um, and that has seen I have seen like multiple uh,
Yes,
close
Prabhu.
devotees who struggle with this. So, but if we don't communicate back that your communication is not right, they will continue to do the same mistake again and
Ah,
again.
mm. So, what is the question? I understood the situation.
So, how do we now in this situation, if we don't point the fault may propagate, right? The fault in the other person may continue to go on,
Ah,
and it may
mm,
impact other people also. I may have some level of tolerance, but not all devotees will have same level of tolerance.
mm, understood. So, Prabhuji, my answer will be time plus circumstances. First, we should see, I mean, how I deal with the situation is, do I have the relationship with that person? Is there a loving bond? Do I feel very good in my heart? Or is my relationship with that person maybe a little bit sore at this point of time? Or the, if I have a loving relationship with that person, him or her, um, and I know that whatever I say, they will take it positively, then I tell them, Prabhuji or Mataji, if you don't mind, there is one thing I want to say. And then I say, please don't feel bad. Just as a well wish, I want to say, this is one thing I noticed which may hamper you. I want you to be very successful in your seva, um, and become very dear to Krishna. And this one thing I feel, if worked on, may help. And when we actually verbally, vocally, before we say anything, we express our intention, And if it is coming from our heart and we actually have love and affection for them, and well wishes for them, Krishna sitting in their heart will make them grateful that we communicated.
Yes, Prajit, yes. Yeah, the risk which I see is that communication, it can put like you on the spot, and you may get a bad relationship with that person, but
Yeah.
somebody has to communicate, right?
Yes. Just another thing which is more like industrial thing, I heard in one of the seminar, communication seminar by Anuttama Prabhu. He says this, I mean, glorify from your heart, give the correction, again glorify from your heart. Sandwich approach, he says. Anuttama.
Okay, got it.
Thank you. It is said that when we have to say something negative now, negative is like a withdrawal. And when we glorify them, it's like an investment. So we want to see that our withdrawals are not more than investment, otherwise we'll go into a loan. So we show a lot of love and affection, gratitude, and that's a constant part of our journey, of our relationship. Is we constantly encourage, glorify, show them lot of love. And when there is lot of positive investment, and there are one or two things we say bad, they won't feel bad because there is very strong investment in that relationship.
Yes, Prajit, I think the investment should be too much lot to pull anything. Otherwise, like negativity hurts more than people praising 100 times.
More investment is required. Thank you, Vinay Prabhuji. Uh, Anything else? Any other question or discussion? Okay. Thank you all for joining. Next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll do verse number 8, 7 and 8. And then the week after, we will do 3 verses, 9, 10, 11. So in 2 weeks, we will finish NOI. And then the third week, we will have assignment and exam. So I request all the devotees, if you haven't started reading it personally, please start reading the book. Okay, we'll end here.
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, I have one thing to ask. Prabhuji, can someone please upload all your videos so we can get the reference of it because there is exam coming. That's the reason.
Yeah, Mother, please text in the group. Manohar Gopal Prabhu, he is helping with putting all the videos. He is on the group also. He will observe it.
Okay, Prabhuji, I can do that.
Okay.
Thank you,
Then,
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.